Hello everyone, it's Gladius. So we've been talking a lot about the Elemental Lariat lately, and there's a reason for it. It's a really good neck. It has a strong activatable and also has 3 gem slots on it, so it empowers your stats by quite a bit. Arguably, it's one of the most important pieces stat-wise, and then also it's not too difficult to get, if you have gold, that is. Now, I've already done 2 guides on the Elemental Lariat, how you can find a Jewlcrafter to make you one of these, and then also how to put gems on it as well. I have both of these guides above linked in the description below. And this guide here is specifically for Jewlcrafters if you wanted to start making this, or if you wanted to go farm out the pattern and sell it for upwards of 700,000 gold. Depends on your auction house and how valuable it is at the moment, but currently it is the most expensive recipe on the auction house period for any of the professions. So we've gone over the value of it, but how do you get your hands on this? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about the farm involved. I warn you, it's not easy to do, but what I've put together is an easy 20-80 strategy. What that means is 20% of the effort for 80% of the result. This strategy can be useful for anyone that doesn't have the time or the patience to be able to sit through a long, drawn-out farm. Before we get into it, everyone, if at the end of the video you decide that this was helpful to you in some way, please heroic strike that like button. If you want to stay tuned for WoW, MMO, and gaming news, please slam the subscribe. All right, let's get into it. So if we take a look on the auction house, the Elemental Lariat design is rare and expensive. Just to get the pattern is 700,000 gold. Crafting an Elemental Lariat at a quality 5 can get you about 20 to 30k in commissions as well. This makes it actually a pretty lucrative investment. But what if you wanted to go ahead and farm one out yourself? You want to farm super rare mobs that are in an Elemental Storm event. That means it's going to take a little bit of planning for you to be able to work out a good time for you to be able to commit to this farm. Now, of course, the most optimal strategy would be once a day, kill every super rare during the Elemental Storm events. This isn't really a reasonable expectation because your elemental storms are only going to spawn every 6 hours, and you need the particular area that the super rare spawns to be empowered with the storm. Due to the small and random nature of these time windows aligning, it isn't reasonable to expect someone to be able to complete this farm unless they had a lot of time to spend at it. If that's you, all the power to you. But I wanted to go over a strategy that goes along with the 20-80 rule, where it's 20% of the effort with 80% of the result. And I guess when I say 20% of the effort, I mean 20% of the time required. It may not get you the Lariat the fastest, but it's probably your most comfortable way of getting there. There's a location in the Waking Shore where 7 rares spawn regularly, and also there are 3 deterministic rares that you're able to summon as well. By completing a quest event, you're able to force their spawn. The location I'm talking about is the Obsidian Citadel. By completing the key quests, you're able to force the spawn of certain rares, as well as having a healthy pool of other rares that could spawn at any time. Let's take a look at a segment from my guide about this. Now let's talk about the weeklies you have to do. They're pretty standard affair. They're going to be your usual killing quests, collecting quests, and all that kind of stuff. With one key difference. As you're fighting the Jarden and other elite mobs around the area, you're going to collect key fragments and keyframes. You can use these to be able to put the keys together. Simply, when you've collected 30 key fragments and 3 keyframes, right-click on either one, and then you'll start assembling a key. Once the key is assembled, you're able to give it to one of the characters in the area. 4 choices for this. You can give it to Sibelian, Rathian, Forge Master Becentis, and... hold on, I gotta check this guy's name. And Morchok? I'm not completely sure. I've never given keys to this guy, but I just saw him sitting over here. You're going to see a bar next to each one of these turn-in points where you're able to give the character the key. After that many keys are turned into that turn-in point, a special event is going to happen. A rare is going to spawn, and then you're able to kill it for some extra reputation. If you want to hear about the reputation farm for Sibelian and Rathian in more detail, I have the link in the description for my guide on this. Now back to our farming for the Elemental Lariat. So if you're able to get Rathian, Sibelian, or Iggy's the Believer up to the 20 key mark, they're going to summon a rare. Rathian will summon Shasith, Sibelian will summon Death's Shadow, and Iggy's the Believer will summon Morchok. Each of these will give you a chance at finding that Elemental Lariat recipe. It's important to note, each time that you loot a rare, it's going to go on cooldown for that day. You can think of it as a daily reset. So an optimal strategy would be to save up your keys and head on over here when there is an elemental storm going on. Turn in your keys just like normal and try to fight each one of these rares one time. While you're committing to this key farm, also there's going to be a chance for other rares to spawn as well. These rares are Rosor Forge Smash, Tiboris, Battlehorn Pyrus, Cauldron Breaker Blakor, Char, Captain Lancer, and Ucan the Voracious. Killing each of these one time will also give you a chance at getting your Elemental Lariat recipe. Now, I've heard reports that the rares are set to spawn shortly after the Elemental Invasion begins. So you can keep an eye out for when that Elemental Invasion pops up and try to get over there within the first 5 minutes of the spawn to try to get an attempt on some of these rares. Of course, the summoned rares won't be there at the start of the event. These need to be summoned by the key method. There's a lot of other great loot that comes off of these rares too. Of course, I gotta give a shout out to Rosor Forge Smash. Blacksmiths, you can get an awesome hammer off of this character, as well as an anvil companion as well. If you want to know more about Rosor's Forge Smash and making your own Black Dragon Touched hammer, I have a guide linked in the description below. I really can't overstate the usefulness of this item. A quick note on Captain Lancer. Every time I finish the siege on Dragonbane Keep, Captain Lancer is always waiting there. This could be just a coincidence, but it's happened frequently enough. I feel confident enough that there might be a reason for this pattern. Once again, don't forget, you only get to loot each of these rares once each day. You want to keep an eye out for when primal invasions are going to start. When they start, especially if one's in the Obsidian Citadel, head on over and try to fight each one of these rares once. While you're waiting in the downtime for rares to spawn, go ahead and start farming some keys because you're going to need those to summon up the summonable rares. Again, the add-on Rare Scanner is really useful for this because you're going to get an alert every time a rare spawns in the area, and you can zip on over there and try to get your attempt in for the day. Once again, everyone, if this video was helpful to you in some way, please heroic strike that like button. And if you want to stay tuned to WoW, gaming, and MMO news, please slam the subscribe. I appreciate your time today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.